It's as simple as focusing on the M's of the business. And the very first M that I look at is, does this company have any type of moat? What is the competitive advantage? Like, first of all, it has to be in a sector that I'm interested in. Forget about the company for a second, the sector, and then I'm going to do all the comparables. Like, it's like a piece of real estate for me. If I want to buy a house in a certain street, in a certain neighborhood, etc., well, I got to first see whether or not I want to be in that neighborhood. Why do I want to be in that neighborhood? What are the schools like, etc.? What's the crime rate? What's the appreciation? Those are all the things that we naturally look at whenever it's a house. So to me, a stock, because it's got to be 100 shares worth because of my strategy, I got to be kind of comfortable with that because it's going to be a big chunk going in. It's an oversized feeler bet. It's not just doing the 1 share rule, just to put it on your radar. This is, you got to commit to 100. So if you're talking about $100 stock, I mean, my goodness, that's a $9,000-$10,000 investment right off the jump, right? So it's nothing to sneeze at. So I'm like, well, let me take a serious look at whether or not I even think they have a moat. Because if I land on the sector, like EVs, for instance, it was something that I was very, very interested in coming into this full time during COVID-19. So Tesla was the obvious choice there for me. And I remember that Facebook post like it was yesterday. I was like, I got some money from the 401k. I want to give me some ideas for a basket of stocks. My buddy Alan Shen chimed in. I go, I don't need help with this one. My can't miss stock is Tesla. Betting on Elon was my hashtag. It was just very, very crystal clear that that's where I thought the world was going. And the only thing that I could think of that was going to, like, for sure reap the benefits of that was Tesla. So it was like I wanted to be in the business. But then now when I start the research, it's like, why do I want to be in the business? Is there money to be made here, or do I just want to park money here to say that I'm a part of the Tesla mafia or the Tesla fanaticism, the cult, whatever it is? And then I'm like, well, let me look at the moat. Do they have a competitive advantage? And then I don't do anything else until I study the management, because the company in and of itself isn't going to do shit because people have to steer it to go a certain place. So I have to get very, very comfortable. I start from the top down. Who's the CEO? What are the credentials? What have they done in the past? Are they winners or are they not winners? Are they married? Are they happily married? Do they cheat on their wife? Like, I learned about that kind of stuff, about the background of the CEO that I essentially am giving money to and saying, here, be a steward of my money, and I hope you get me a return. I want to know what the hell is going on with these CEOs. As much dirt as I can dig on them, good or bad, it doesn't matter. So I essentially try to turn into a journalist like that. Like, I'm stalking them on social media and all of that stuff. What kind of shit are they saying on Twitter? Are they talking Anthony Noto, talking too much about sports, not enough about Galileo? Like, I want to learn about that kind of stuff about the CEO that I'm trusting with my money. I think it's fair of me to be able to do so. And then when I'm done with that and the box is starting to check out, I'm starting to feel a certain way about this company. What does the market say about the company? What kind of market cap are they getting right now? What's the sentiment? What's the total addressable market, etc.? And then I look at the entire sector, and then what kind of percentage of the pie would this company get realistically in a bull case, a bear case, and in a bear case, right? Like, I look at those things as well. What kind of multiples is the market giving companies in this sector? Why are certain companies getting a higher multiple than others? Like, why does the market favor a firm, an upstart, more than it seems to favor SoFi? Like, I need to go on a mission and find out those answers, because they don't really talk about that much on YouTube. There's something there that the market likes a lot more about Marathon Digital than it does about Riot Platforms, and it's been that way since I got into the Bitcoin mining. So those are the types of questions that I try to answer along the way, and then I look at these at the same time. I look at the money and I look at the movie, because it's a production, right? They're going to make a movie. So I gotta know, how long is this movie gonna be? What kind of actors? What kind of budget, etc. Do they have enough money to actually make the movie? Or am I just going to be sitting there? I got real excited. I bought a ticket to the movie. I got my popcorn. I got my nachos. I got my soda. All this shit that I'm not supposed to be eating. I got fucking M&Ms, and I'm excited to watch a movie. And there is no production because they don't have enough money. They don't have the budget to make the movie. So that's kind of the way that I look at it. And what kind of money do they have? How long do they have? Like a runway. They call it run rate, but like a runway, it's like an airplane, and I look at it like a runway at the airport, and it only has a certain amount of time before it has to elevate, or you're going to either crash into that building in the distance, or you're going to go into the field, right? Because there's no more concrete there, there's no more asphalt there. At some point, you got to take off and fly. So I have to make a determination as to how much money does this company have to make the movie work. And all that being said, if I really sink my teeth into it, guys, it takes me about 6 months to a year and about 168 hours of my time until I started this channel and I found people like you. Now I can get it done in about 20 hours because those 20 hours are spent listening on 2 times speed the last 4 earnings reports. That is what I start with now, because now I'm going to see whether or not the movie and the money makes sense, and they're going to have 4 times to convince me that they're on the right track, or are they constantly pivoting? Because the earnings tell you what they did, and then it's like the cost, like the Fed. He did what, 50 bips, and then he has to talk about why he did the 50 bips, right? That's what an earnings report is with the company, is they tell you what they did for the last 3 quarters, and then they're going to have a talk about what they did, and then they're going to tell you what they're expected to do for the next 3, 6, 9 quarters. It's called guidance. And then now you're going to be able to listen to that earnings call and see if they delivered. How does that look? How do the numbers look in comparison to the story that they sold us? Because they told it and they sold it, and we bought it. We're still in for another earnings report, and we're going to be able to validate and verify that information and see if the movie's on track, if the production is on track. And I give them 4 chances to convince me that it's on track. So already I'm in it for 8 to 10 hours right there, if I'm really sinking my teeth into this fucking thing. That's why when people give me tickers, I'm like, bro, you got to come with something that makes it worth sinking my teeth into this thing. This is going to require time out of my life that I'm never going to get back. So as I progressed in my career, then now what I started doing is, why don't I sell an out of the money put that's like 20% below the current price? If the chart looks okay, because I'm going to have historical evidence there of how the market likes it. And why don't I get paid a little bit to do this research? So what I first do initially, guys, they give me a ticker and I'm like, let's go sell some puts on it. And now we're going to go get paid to be librarian a little bit. And if this thing checks out, maybe this turns into an investment. If it doesn't, let me just see if I can manufacture the win as a trade. And then if it's kind of becomes like a go-to move, that's kind of what TSOL became. It was like that for like a year and a half before I really trusted it, because I didn't understand how it functioned. Still don't totally, but I trust it more, right?
Dude, I should get a commission for shilling that for so long.
Dude, you and Sam Bad, or whatever he was called at the time, Sam Solid.
Solid. Yeah.
Hidden Edge, him and Chris Patel. Shout out to those guys. Dude, they shoved that fucking thing down my throat, bro, and I didn't understand it. I was like, I don't want to. I mean, it was featured on the damn cash grab segment all the time, dude. It was like these M&Ms. At some point, I couldn't resist them. You know what I mean? So anyway, that's my process in a nutshell. And then I have some tools that I use, and I use stockanalysis.com. I use alphaspread.com, and I use visualstocks.com. I pay money for those services collectively, about 30 or 40 bucks a month. And those are essentially my go-to moves, and everything that you guys said, like the YouTubes, the CNBCs, all that stuff, is at some point as part of the research and after doing the earnings reports where I finish off is I go try to watch like 5 to 10 bullish videos on set. and then I try to go find 5 to 10 bearish videos on that stock, and then I take a little bit here and a little bit there to start formulating my own investment. Because let's just face it, you can't borrow conviction, but you can borrow some knowledge and then try to figure out whether or not it's forming a bull case for you or a bear case for you. But the only thing that is really going to solidify it in my mind is you're just going to have to go through the seasons with this stock. There's never going to be a replacement for the experience that you had with that stock. So that's the due diligence.
But you go through the seasons you can go through the seasons by selling puts.
Yes.
A lot of the companies that I eventually become something I invest in, I agree with what you're saying, but I kind of started off somewhat because I need money in the stock to actually pay attention to it. I need to see how it trades. I need to get a feeling for how it's going. And so that, I mean, even if you don't know how to do anything else, I think just getting started by selling way out of the money puts is a great way to start.
Agreed. So then this is the part that isn't spent. People don't spend enough time on this. You can spend too much time studying the company and not enough time formulating a strategy on how you can actually make money with said investment. I spend a lot more time figuring out how I can manufacture the win. If there's a win to be manufactured here for me, because I'm not in early on Tesla, if you will. You know, luckily I was in early on Palantir. I was in too early on SoFi. I was in early when it was IPOE. You know what I'm saying? Like I was in way early on Neo. Luckily I came out unscathed over there, dude. I sold it like 30, 40, 50 and a couple of shares at 60. And then just to see that shit come crashing down and went to 20, I go, oh my God, Lord, you parted the Red Sea for me. I'm going to walk right in just to know that he had just showed me. But this shit, the waves came crashing down, and I've been having to manufacture the win ever since. You know what I mean? I'm finally in the black on Neo again. But I just, you know, because then with my experience, guys, I learned that you got to spend just as much time learning how to manufacture the win with the investment. Because picking the right company is one thing. Picking the right stock is another thing. Learning how to actually make money with that ticker, off of that ticker, that is a skill set that people do not teach and preach enough.
Yep.
You go buy 2 shares of Tesla, it goes up 1,000%. Congratulations, it's only 2 shares. So you got to spend time treating each ticker like its own hamburger stand, like its own business, and figuring out how can I make this the most profitable hamburger stand in my portfolio, if you will. How can I make it the most profitable piece of virtual real estate in my portfolio? People spend a lot of time on YouTube bragging about the stocks that they own. I spend all my time showing them how I make money off the stocks that are owned in the portfolio. And there's a big nuance there that a lot of people haven't caught on to. There's a lot of people that know a whole lot more about SoFi and Palantir than I fucking care to ever know. I make money off of those companies way more than they'll ever fucking make because I spend a lot of time learning how to manufacture the win. Because at the end of the day, isn't that what we're here for? Or do you want to go on Jeopardy and answer every fucking question about Palantir's contracts? Is that going to make you money? Is that a game show that you're ever going to be a part of? I'm just saying. You got to be careful where you spend your time. It's your most valuable asset. I know I'm being funny, but dude, there's nothing funny about trying to make money. You got to spend time learning how to make money off of the stock. You're already in love with the company. You're already in love with the management. You decided that their mode is impenetrable, or however the words are, impregnable, whatever the hell it is. At the end of the day, do you know how to fucking make money off the ticker? Yes or no? Raise your hand if you know how to make money off the ticker. If you don't, you need to learn how to, why the fuck aren't you raising your hand? Learn how to make money off the ticker. You're not going to get paid for watching the stocks, guys. I'm sorry. I don't want to be a dick. Somebody has to tell you the truth. And I'm the guy that'll do it for you because I don't give a fuck if you like me or not. I'm very secure in who I am.